Hi, this is Angelo at Arden Jewelers, and today we're going to be talking about chains. We've collected a variety of chain styles, and we're going to break them in the name of science. Let's get started. Before we get into the different chain styles, let's talk about hollow versus solid chains. This is actually the #1 repair in our shop. Hollow chains break a lot. And the reason is they're 6 times weaker than their solid counterpart. As you can see, you barely pull on the hollow chain and it breaks, and the solid one takes a lot of effort. This is why, if at all possible, we recommend going for the solid chain versus the hollowed version of that chain. Up first is a bead chain. This chain is made by having hollow spheres with a gold wire in between that has a little sphere at the end of each wire. If you were to kink this chain a little bit, it can handle it, but if I were to push any harder, it would have bent. Let's see how it does. This chain actually performed a little better than I thought it would. Most bead chains feel a little bit weaker, but this one did great. Up next is the snake chain. This chain is really good at holding light pendants, but you do not want to kink this chain. As soon as you apply any pressure, it gets stuck, and you can't really undo it. Also notice as it pulls how much it stretches. You can't really undo the stretch either. That's why chain manufacturers have made the reinforced snake chain. Look at how it disintegrates as it gets pulled. Oh, it's so cool. Even though it's not the strongest chain, the snake chain is still a gorgeous chain that holds pendants beautifully and allows them to slide nicely. Next up is the rope chain. This chain is classic, and one reason it's stuck around so long is because it's so tough. Notice how it's really hard to even kink this chain. You have to be pretty abusive to hurt a rope chain. And when you're pulling, you can see how it actually fails in multiple spots before it actually breaks. Such a well-designed chain. Next is the serpentine chain, or some people call it the S-link chain. This chain lays flat, has a great shine, but you don't want to kink this chain. It is pretty hard to undo. Sometimes you get lucky, and if you pull and wiggle it the right way, it'll go flat again, and sometimes you don't. Also, it's not very strong. Please don't put any heavy pendants on a serpentine chain. Up next is the Byzantine chain. This chain is super elegant, and it's very hard to kink. See how you can hardly tell where we kinked it? Even if you kink it at an angle, it bounces back quite strong. Good. It did really well in the test. I was expecting a little bit more since it was so thick, but overall a great chain for pendants. Next, we have a modified Bismarck chain. This chain is more on the fashion end, typically used in bracelets. It is almost impossible to kink, which is one reason we like it so much. You can fold it in half and you're still not going to hurt it. Even twisting it sideways, which we don't recommend, it holds up pretty well. Oh my gosh. Although it is a large chain, it did break relatively easy after stretching a lot, but for being a fashion bracelet piece, it was perfect. Up next is the herringbone chain. This chain, when worn alone without a pendant, is stunning. It lays flat, has a huge flash of gold as it catches the light, and looks gorgeous. However, it is quite fragile. Once you kink it, it's very hard to undo. Sometimes the repair is visible. Don't kink it. Also, it's extremely weak. Don't put any pendants on it at all, ever. It won't work. Next is the Omega chain. If you want the flat look of the herringbone but need it to be stronger so you can wear a pendant, this is your chain of choice. You can still kink this chain, so be careful with it, but it takes a little bit more force than the herringbone. However, once you kink it, it's very hard to undo that. That being said, it can hold a rather large pendant, so go crazy. Up next is the Figaro chain. This chain is a classic, and for good reason. The number of long and short links vary, but overall, the pattern's the same. It's very hard to twist this chain and bend it, and folding in half will not kink it. It's very resilient. This particular chain is pretty thick, but still 90 pounds of pressure to break is impressive. And last, for this round of chain break videos, is the famous curb or Cuban chain. These links are slightly different, but structurally very, very similar. As you can see, like the Figaro, you can bend this chain, it won't kink, you can twist it, it won't be hurt. It's an extremely resilient chain. The style is classic and been around for years for good reason. So we tried to break this chain in the normal fashion, and we're unsuccessful. So we had to bring in the diesel truck to get some torque, because we weren't gonna let the chain beat us. And wow, this chain took 400 pounds to break. Impressive. We obviously had a lot of fun making this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It may not have been the most scientific, but it really did give a good idea of the relative strength differences between different styles of chains and hollow versus solid chains. Let us know in the comments what your favorite chain was. And if you ever want a new chain or need a chain repaired, we at Ardent Jewelers would love to help you. Thanks, we'll see you in the next video.